Okay, and we are live. This is Imtiaz, your thought partner to build, deploy, and sell AI agents. Happy Tuesday and welcome. Welcome if you're tuning in or if you're watching this later. Uh, really appreciate your time. We're going to be talking about the current state of AI, cultivating an AI centric mindset, and also, I'm going to show you some stats to help you understand where the market is going and how you can adapt your current skill set to uh, to basically integrate yourself with all the uh, innovations that are happening. Whether it's for you or your business. So yeah, we're going to dive into a lot of stuff. So thank you for joining in. If you're tuning in, feel free to share where you're from and what AI projects you're working on. If you have any questions, definitely put that in the comment below, and let's start talking. Okay, let me go ahead. I'll show you something funny first. I think that will set the tone. Let's see. So apparently, an Indian student, 22-year-old, he made a automatic homework maker, right? So it basically takes input from ChatGPT and produces a homework like this with their own handwriting, etc. Right? And pretty much, homeworks are getting outsourced to ChatGPT. If you're currently working, you're in the workplace, you're probably already seeing people outsourcing their work to ChatGPT, and they probably playing video games or doing unproductive work. Uh, so I think this it just shows where the current state is. Usually schools and a lot of businesses are generally behind, and that's because when there's an establishment that's really big, it's really hard to catch up to the latest and greatest innovations. So you cannot entirely change the whole system, right? To bring in these innovations like ChatGPT. So you must learn how to integrate this. Well, at the current state of things, this is not working, right? And obviously, we don't know for how long this is going to persist, but we don't have time. Okay, time is running out, and if you're one of the few people who've recognized that there is going to be a massive shift in how we operate, then I commend you, my friend, because you're in the right place at the right time. Because, as you know, well, I usually talk about this this analogy, right? Because I really love surfing, and I've actually I wasn't a big fan of surfing before. This is one of the skills I picked up recently, and it also by learning this skill, it allowed me to conquer some of my own fears, right? My fear of the water, the fear of sharks, etc. But by going into that ocean, I was able to understand and get a few additional perspectives, which I didn't know before, right? And that's why I also encourage you guys, if you're learning a new skill, whether you want to be a professional or not, it doesn't matter at this point, because as you know, we are turning from not just we're a label. We shouldn't be a label. Instead, we should think beyond our skill set, think how we can automate our skill set, think how we can create agents that can do the work for us, right? That requires a different kind of mindset. That requires you to be problem solvers. That requires you to identify trends, identify markets before everybody sees it, and then ride the tsunami, right? So when I took up the surfing lessons, my instructor told me that, hey, we have to find the right waves. Okay, you cannot ride all the waves. Here's a wave coming here. This is a beginner-friendly wave. You should catch this wave. And he had a good eye for catching waves. And I realized that's also another micro skill you need to understand when to ride it. It's not just about riding it. You have to catch the wave. You have to wait for long hours of time, train, and finally, when you catch the wave, you ride it, right? And I think that simple analogy fits perfectly in this scenario, in this kind of market, right? Because uh, people who are in this field for a while, like people who have been working with AI. I personally have been working in AI for almost 10 years now. I started out as a data scientist, machine learning specialist, and now I'm adapting. Okay, I just want to let you know that you're not the only one in this. Okay, because we're also adapting. Like even I've developed some GPTs to help me create content, to help me learn a new skill set, to hone my Python skills. This area of AI development is pretty new, so I'm also learning as I'm going. So I'm teaching you guys that this is all possible because you have GPTs, you have AI to augment the current work you're doing. And at some point, GPT-5 is going to come, and it's gonna usher in a new wave of technology. Okay, a new wave of technology, like agent technology. So what that means that the the AI is not just going to be able to give you knowledge answers. It's also going to be able to do tasks for you. You ask the AI, hey, let browse the web, make this post, do this research, build this software, build this app. Um, so you probably heard about Devin, the AI autonomous software engineer. Imagine if you can have Devin working for you as an employee, as your software developer. I want you to envision the year, it could be very soon, 3, 4 years. Go searching for LinkedIn, right? You're a software engineer, you're going to apply to LinkedIn. All the jobs are filled up by this guy. Okay, this guy is going to take your job. And if you just identify yourself as a software engineer, well, I have bad news for you, my friend. You have to adapt, and you're not the only one here. There's many people trying to figure this out. And if you're one of the few people who joining now, the 1%, you will have a chance to ride the tsunami. Okay? So I encourage you to build new skill sets. Don't be afraid to learn. Don't be able to solve problems. It requires a different kinds of mindset. Okay? And that's why we also need agents. And also, what the current state is going, there's going to be very few, a minority people who's going to figure out agent technology. Okay, they already have, and they are using it to automate a lot of processes. And it's definitely possible for everyone. I don't want to make you think that this is beyond your capabilities. You've probably seen a lot of big companies like Google, OpenAI, and what do you call Anthropic. They're releasing these technologies, LLMs. So what LLMs are basically machine learning models. They've gathered data over the years from the internet. Think about YouTube, Reddit, all the forums. Users query your data. They've taken all that data, packaged it into an LLM model. Okay, so when you have that intelligence, it's like an intelligence in your hands. It's like having Einstein. Oh, I want to show you something really cool too. I was just playing around with this. And also, I want to show you that a lot of these technologies are actually free to use. You probably heard about ChatGPT. You probably used ChatGPT, and you've probably seen the potential. And I'm pretty sure when you saw what the potential of ChatGPT, you weren't like, oh, this was fun. That's not what you said. You said, how can I take this technology and help me augment my work? And very soon, they're going to be working just like you. Very soon, they're going to be doing your job better than you. Okay, that's going to be the time AGI, artificial general intelligence. Okay, that's also coming. That's another way in the future. I don't want you to worry about that now. But think about all the tools you have at your disposal, right? This is Leonardo AI. It uses a text to image model, and it's using something called stable diffusion. If you're not familiar with it, it's similar to DALI, right? So this has real-time generation, and it'll give you a window to how the LM models think, or basically how they operate, right? It is basically an artificial network similar to a human brain. So whenever you send like a word, it predicts the next word. It predicts where the word is in a vector space, and it's able to basically give you a coherent response or image output, right? So let's say, uh, sh- show me picture of dog. Here you go. In a house with a cat. See how fast it's able to produce the images. This is crazy, right? And then you can say walking in a park with a person. Oh, okay, there you go. So anyways, this is an example, right? This gives you a window to generative AI capabilities. Now, when I started 10 years ago, right, AI was at the infancy, right? So let me show you another photo. AI was still at the infancy. We were probably still fiddling around with programs, giving direct instructions, kind of like a calculator, like, hey, do this, and it does that, right? So around that time when I started, they started, there was a movement of data science, machine learning, big data. So as you know, with Excel, there's a limitations. If you've done any data analysis in Excel, you know that after 1,000 rows of data, it gets really clunky. You can't do anything with it, right? And what happened was, when I started, I was still learning. I didn't know the potential of machine learning or data science, et cetera, et cetera. So I was still working with Excel. And so I was in a cubicle one day, and I was just working. And I realized my coworker always got the job done faster, efficiently, and he was able to produce really good output, right? So but then every time I visited his cubicle, he always was playing video games. I was like, so how do you do this? What's the secret? And he showed me that this thing called Python, right? It's a programming language. And apparently you can write code to do data analysis. And there's apparently packages and functions already built by other people who are doing data analysis. You just plug in a few lines of code and it's going to do the data analysis for you, right? And I was blown away with this technology. At that time, yeah, I mean, I wasn't a programmer, right? So when I thought about programming, I thought about this unseen world. Like you have to be like a really, you have to start really early. And I think about HTML, JavaScript, all that. I wasn't really familiar with Python, but there is actually a whole Python libraries, like Python libraries just for data science, right? And he showed me a couple of hacks, and I said, okay, well, let me shadow you for a while. So I sat down, took some notes, I saw what he was doing, and then I was like, well, this is pretty easy. I can do that too. And then I started to incorporate that in my work, and then I realized now, just by knowing Python, I have the ability to work with not 1,000 rows of data, 1,000,000 rows of data, maybe 1 billion rows of data, because you're moving to a different system, right? You're moving to a different system. It's not clunky anymore, and you can process text data. So I have a Skool community. If you want to learn Python, if you want to learn how data structures work and read the language of data, right? I have a Skool community. I'm going to put the link in the description. Because as you know, with the AI agent technology coming, those who master both the natural language, communication with LMs, and the programmatic language of the AI agents will be extremely well positioned to basically ride the tsunami. They'll be able to fluidly collaborate with AI assistants, leverage their intelligence without being replaced by it. Okay, this is a symbiotic relationship, and in that way, you can tell Devin, make this application for me. Okay, you can tell Devin, Write this software for me. Devin, make me coffee. Okay. Now, if you don't speak their language, Devin will make you make the coffee. Okay. You don't want to make coffee for Devin, do you? So you have to understand their language, understand how they operate. And in fact, it's really easy nowadays. You can also create GPTs. I have GPTs helping me write code, helping me learn code. So it's it's getting really easier day and day. So if you don't learn it, somebody else will. And like the saying goes, AI will not take your job. Somebody who understands AI will. Okay, so it's really important that you start leveling up and upskilling yourself. Okay, so the next thing to discuss. If you're joining in, feel free to introduce yourself. Tell me where you're from, and what kind of AI projects you're working on, my friend. That will be great. All right, cool. And make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get updated when I drop a video, come online. So this is interesting. Okay, so AI. So we've been in this. So I've seen AI grown from infancy. When it was just a baby. Devin was a baby, right? Now it has grown up. Now it's adult. Like 10 years ago, when I was telling people, like, hey, I found this amazing technology called machine learning and AI. People were like, oh yeah, it's for little kids, right? And that's true. We were still playing around with it, but only people who actually played around with it understood its potential, right? Because you were able to do predictive analytics, machine learning. You probably heard, like, I'm pretty sure you know this. If you don't know, then you're probably living in a cave. But back then, Target used to have predictive models to identify when one of their shoppers would be pregnant, in the future, based on their shopping behavior, right? This was all done through predictive analytics and collecting users' data. So they would give out gift cards to collect the data, and then data scientists and machine learning specialists would do predictive analytics to predict their behavior in the future. The difference before and now is before AI was getting used on you. You probably didn't know it because advertisements, YouTube recommendation system, Netflix, you were the consumer, right? But now the big shift is that AI is in your hands. Okay, so you can now have the power. So it's creating softwares, creating AI systems is not limited to big companies anymore. People like you, me, any entrepreneurs. There's new entrepreneurs every day now because OpenAI has made GPT technology so easy for you to start working and creating your own product. It's an extension of your abilities. I want to elaborate that. It's extension of your abilities. You want to create a GPT that augments your work, that augments your domain experience, that helps you, not hurt you. Okay, so this is also interesting. Like, so basically, AI is really powerful, as you know, right? But AI has its pitfalls. AI has its limitations. And even worse, when big companies use the word AI, you've probably even heard a lot of people around you, they say AI, AI, without even understanding what AI is and what it does. Working on AI for online communities and harnessing collective engines of members, happy to be learning from you. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for joining in and tuning in, and really appreciate your time. As you know, I'm kind of new with streaming, so I'm learning as I'm going. So this is definitely great to get feedback and really make content around what you're looking for. Okay, so I really appreciate your time. So people are actually using AI, the word AI, and commercializing it, selling stuff that's not even AI, right? So you probably heard about Amazon's AI-powered cashier-free shops. They use a lot of humans, right? So check this out. Um, so apparently they had this. The promise of the just walkout stores was that the customers would not need to queue for a cashier. They would scan their own items or even pause on the way out. They could simply take what they needed, walk out of the door, and an eye seeing, all eyes, all seeing eye of technology, AI would seamlessly price their goods, charge their account, etc. Right? So it's really interesting because as you can see, they were not using AI; they were actually employing humans to do the camera. So it shows you that there is still some limitations. We still have an opportunity. We still have some time where humans, well, we actually have time to learn how to augment, learn how to cooperate with AI or collaborate with AI, right? Eventually, AI will be doing all this stuff and we will be doing more higher level, creative, strategic tasks, right? But it's really important that you understand the language of AI and not get duped by people who are claiming to use AI, but they're actually not. So it's very important to understand how it works. Definitely join the Skool community to learn and really educate yourself. Uh, and then also encourage you. There's a lot of people using AI and not, and you know, just because AI gives you an answer, this is an important point. I want to stress this. Let's see. Yeah, just because AI gives you an answer doesn't mean it's right. As you know, this saying, garbage in, garbage out. It really depends on the people who are making these AI agents or AI assistants. If they feed the AI with garbage, garbage will come out. But people will see this and think this is okay, this is right. Like they'll see the results, like, okay, wow, amazing. Just because the thing with AI is it can make anything sound accurate. Like it's very persuasive in its language. So you have to be very careful who's making the AI or who's making these kind of technologies, because they could be feeding in garbage, and you're going to consume that garbage, right? And the problem with AI is that AI, if you don't steer it in the right direction, it's going to go offhand. So you really need experts, really need people to communicate and understand how it works, speak their language to steer it on course. Right? So you have to see through the matrix. By understanding things like prompt engineering and Python, you'll be able to see how the AI operate. By understanding concepts like RAG, then APIs, you're going to be able to um, basically augment your AI with the latest and greatest technology. So what's happening is a lot of people are jumping into open source models without understanding machine learning, understanding Python, understanding how AI works. Just because it's open source doesn't mean it's going to be the perfect solution for you, my friend. You know, if you're starting out for the first time, I would recommend you start with OpenAI's models. Start with GPT-4. If you've seen the leaderboard, GPT-4 is at the top. And I know a lot of people are concerned with the cost. That is valid point. But OpenAI has made a lot of advancements now, a lot of technology. So they are a business, right? In order to use the technology, in order to use the tech stack, there's a small price you have to pay, but it also means that you now have access to their LLM model. You have access to their vector database. You have access to all these technology without you having to retrain it, fine tune it, do all kinds of wizardry to get it working. You now have access to the latest and greatest model, right? And when people are training these open source models without any experience, without any expertise, they're like, oh, how do I train this data? Where do I get the data? You don't make data. Data gets made by the LLMs, right? So in order to make really good quality data, you have to train it with good quality models. When you get the data from GPT-5 or GPT-4, whatever is the latest model, you can now take that data and fine tune your open source models, right? Don't just fine tune with made up garbage data, because that's going to hurt you than help you. Okay, so I encourage everybody to like really start gathering their own data. If you're building specialized solutions, start with GPT-5 or GPT-4, and then fine tuning your the lower cost models, okay, or open source models, whatever. But getting the data is important. Without good data, you're going to be crushed. Okay, so yeah, we're going to dive into crew AI as well, like the latest and greatest in the agent technology. But the tsunami is coming, so you have to be prepared for this. What was I saying? Yeah, so the basically you need good quality data, and you need to start gathering this kind of data sets. So people ask, okay, why do you need to fine tune a model? Why can't we just use the models out of the box? There are some benefits of fine tuning, okay, particularly because, as you know, the AI models or the LMs are trained on the internet. They're trained on the vast amounts of data on the internet, right? And they have data sets on different domains. So if you're, let's say, you're dental, you provide dental advice, through your OpenAI assistant. Your OpenAI assistant provides dental advice, and you'd be wondering, I don't need anything else other than dental information. I don't need information on politics, information on the history of the world, etc. I just need dental information. And that's a valid point. That's a really valid point. And that's why you need to fine tune. But you need to fine tune with really specialized knowledge, okay? And that includes documents, PDF. Well, there's fine tune concept and there's RAG. So RAG is when you augment the LLMs with your specific domain knowledge, and it steers the AI in that direction. Like, okay, I need to provide information from these documents, from this domain, from this and that. So it doesn't kind of make up stuff that your consumers, or let's say, or you probably don't want, right? It doesn't make up all these random stuff. It steers in the direction of your PDFs or your Word docs. Now, when you so when this doesn't work for you, you now go into something called fine tuning. So basically, we start gathering enough data. You have some kind of like a back and forth conversation, assistant user. It's almost like, yeah, this is how the assistant should respond to my question. This is how the assistant should respond to my question. You have enough data points, then you can build your own kind of fine-tuned LLM. Think about it. You have a foundation layer, GPT-4. Let's say you're using GPT-4 foundation layer, but then you now fine tune with your data set, so it becomes more specialized to your domain. And now you can use this fine tune model, you know, for a lower cost. Okay, you can fine tune. You can take the data. You can fine tune GPT-3 model, right? You don't have to use GPT-4. You can use GPT-3, fine tune with your data sets, and now the GPT-3, which is really cheap, you can now use that with your data set. It becomes much more functional. So there's a lot of avenues to manage the cost, but I do recommend not to dive straight into open source without understanding anything in Python, machine learning, AI, because you might be steering it in the wrong direction and creating Frankenstein bots. Instead of riding the wave, you're going to be swimming away into some other distant. So it's really important that you learn. The goal is to automate uh, and and then also think about what we can do after we automate all this stuff, right? A lot of people are thinking, okay, well, if I automate everything, if I automate my job, if I automate everything I know today, so what am I left with, right? That's why, my friend, this is a new era. Everybody is adapting, not just you, even me. I'm adapting. So we are all learning new skills. So I'm thinking, right, when I have automated everything, my content creation process, maybe, marketing and everything, sales, what am I going to be doing? I can just push a button, let the agents do all the work for me. So I decided I'm going to be a therapist. Okay. And this is why, because a lot of people will be losing jobs. And I don't want you to think of it in a bad way, right? There's going to be new jobs getting created. So while people are going through a paradigm shift, there's definitely going to be a time when they need some help. So I'll be a therapist. Don't worry. I will help you, and I'll still maintain that human to human connection like this live stream. And it's important that you understand and recognize there's a big opportunity, but there's two options for you. You either ride it or get crushed. Okay, so I know I've talked a lot. So if you have any questions, make sure you feel free to just comment below and let me know what you think. What are you working on? Do you like the content style? It's definitely different from what I usually do. Um, I dive into some coding sessions, but I do also want to do workshops. Tuesday, I want to focus on giving you like a mental model, what the current state is with AI, and then Thursday, I want to dive into the actual coding sessions and create assistants, agents, all that kind of stuff. So the technology. So also understand there's people on different sides of the spectrum, right? You have your friends. You can ask them, what is AI? What does that mean to you? Everybody has a different answer. Even me, when I started in this space, I saw how the public conscious about consensus about AI, it change, shift in different ways. But if you imagine, right? Maybe I can draw something. Okay, never mind. But you can imagine there's people in the spectrum. There's people on one side of the spectrum. They're like, um, they're like oblivious to AI, or even oblivious to the capabilities of AI. Never played with ChatGPT. Uh, never took the time to really research or do their due diligence. Right. I would say that's on one end of the spectrum, like really ignorant. And then you have on the other end of the spectrum, you have some like a mindset that's really fearful. Like, for example, this guy on the left, right? AI will take my job. Very fearful and also not willing to learn a new skill and very um, in the panic mode pretty much. So you have ignorant and panic. They're like two opposite sides of the spectrum. You don't want to be in either end. Okay. What I advocate is a balanced middle ground. Okay, so where you uh, augment your specialized skills, because I think what's going to set people apart is when they actually can. Because think about this, right? OpenAI is making it possible for anyone to make ChatGPT. I mean, their own ChatGPT or assistant, etc. People are coming out of the woodworks. There's entrepreneurs. Maybe your neighbor built a GPT because it's so easy nowadays, but it's mostly copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, just making a different version of a chat GPT, like just adding like a different prompt. Like let's say you tell chat GPT, hey, teach me Spanish. And chat GPT is like, okay, I'll teach you Spanish. And they're turning it into a product like learn Spanish with chat GPT or something like that, right? Where all it is just chat GPT customized, in a simple way, etc. And they're making these copy paste products. Um, but what's going to set you apart is when you make specialized assistants, specialized agents that does more than just copy paste, copy paste. That adds your knowledge, your domain expertise. That adds. So I think what's going to be even more valuable than agents are people with domain expertise. So when people are panicking, like what are they going to do with their job? Well, if you're really good at your job, then you shouldn't worry because now you have that expertise, you have the domain knowledge. But if you're not really good at your job, or if you're just if your job is making coffee, then I don't know, you have to upskill. I'm sorry, but this is how it is. But people with really good domain knowledge, with specialized skills, they can now take that knowledge, right? Partner up with people who are, really good with this technology, who can make agents, assistants. They can partner up with them and create sophisticated products that are not just copy paste. It's more than just copy paste. It actually solves a problem. It actually customizes to the domain. So I think that's even more valuable. So we're coming into a new kind of era, and definitely this kind of mindset will set us apart. And I want to close things off with. Now, if you have any questions, make sure you put it in the comment. I'll answer that. Um, but I'm going to go back to Leonardo AI and show a picture. Show the Avengers. surfing a tsunami. Okay, this could be you. You have a massive opportunity. Okay, by not only riding that wave, taking that opportunity. Well, first you identify there's an opportunity. You have to have that belief there's opportunity. You ride the wave. Now you build up skills. Now you ride the wave. You're gonna usher in a new wave of thinking. Okay, you're going to set the tone for millions of people, right, who are going to start using this technology. So you are the pioneers. You are the 1% who are seeing this, and you will be riding this wave. I can almost guarantee you. But with power comes responsibility. Understand this, right? So it's really important that you recognize that it's an opportunity, but also, by helping us learn these skills, we can co-partner with our AI autonomous friends, and this will uh, this will impact people, and people will, um, you know, it's going to be a new world pretty much. But anyways, I've talked a lot, and thank you for joining this live stream. I'm going to be doing more of these every Tuesday. Come join me. I'll be giving you some market breakdowns, some statistics. I'll do more data analytics. But I love showing these kind of technologies because it just shows what is possible with AI and generative AI, right? So yeah, if you haven't played with Leonardo AI, check it out. And if you haven't joined my Skool community, make sure you join it. It's free for now, but I don't know for how long it's going to be free, but I'm keeping it open. A lot of people are coming in, experts. Definitely love having these talks with you.